What is up, you guys? Brooke here. I've been keeping you all in the dark for a while about my book baby that I am working on right now, and that's because it is still in the process of being born. My WIP is still in the first draft, and so that means that there could be things that change later on down the line. So I don't want to tell you guys too much about my book because what if the things I tell you all change? But I do want to talk about my book a little bit with y'all today, and I want to be doing that through a tag that I am doing. I am doing the Behind the Book tag, and this is a tag that was created by wonderful and awesome Mandi Lynn, and this was a tag that she had done to kind of promote her book baby that just came into the world like last week or so. Last week. Her book, She's Not Here, is ready to be bought and had. The link for She's Not Here is below, and that way you can go ahead and click on it and grab a copy for yourselves. So back to talking about the tag. This was a tag that Mandi created to talk about She's Not Here, and it's kind of a great way for other author tubers to talk about their book and what all they kind of got their inspiration from for it. So the Behind the Book tag is kind of like the behind the scenes of the book that you're working on right now. But yeah, let's talk about my book baby and go behind the scenes of talking about it with you guys. Question number 1 is, what is my book about and what's its genre? Do you all say genre or genre? Genre? What do you all say? I feel like I've heard so many different people say different things, and I don't know. It's like tomato, you know what it is, but I want to hear what you guys think it should be. Is it the J, genre, or should it be Jean, like Jean Valjean? Jean Valjean, who is that? I cannot think or recall who this is. It's a character in a movie or something. Who is it? Oh, is it Les Mis? I think it's Les Mis. Brooke, editing Brooke, comment right here what Jean Valjean is from and let me know if it's Les Mis, because I think it's Les Mis. Where was I going with this? Okay, so genre. What's the genre and what's the book about? So I have talked about my book in the past. I've talked about kind of the gist of getting the idea of what type of book I'm writing, and I'll go ahead and explain it again to you all now. My WIP is set in 1920s New Orleans, where lots of paranormal mayhem is going down in the streets of the French Quarter. And there's vampires in it, but that's definitely not what the full focus of the book is. There's vampires crawling about the streets, but that's not to say that that is all the paranormal stuff that is in there. There's other supernatural occurrences that happen in this book, but I'm not going to say what. Just know that this takes place in New Orleans, so any supernatural thing can go down in my book here. So it's gonna be a whole lot of fun, and I'm so excited to keep writing it. Oh, and it's also new adult, so that way I can have a little bit more mature content going on there. Whether that be with violence, with language, and with sexual things. I don't know how much sexy time my characters are going to be participating in, but they will have sexy moments that you can expect. Question number 2, was my story inspired by anything in real life? Not really. I'm the type of person where whenever I write a book, it's for the most part where it all is coming from my head, not from what all I am seeing in my day-to-day life. Everything is up here, which could be a good or bad thing. You guys tell me after you read the book. I will say that Vampire Diaries, that's like one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I will say that that is a big thing as to why there are vampires in my book. So it's not really based on anything in my real life, but in my real life, I am obsessed with Vampire Diaries. Does that count? Does this count in this type of question category thing? Question number 3, why did I start writing this book? So if anyone watching hasn't seen past videos where I've talked about that I had published a book before, God, I always have flying things that go around whenever I'm shooting, and I'm always like... So I have self-published a book before, and this was a book that was young adult, it was about time travel, and it was about the Civil War, and it took place in the South. And so that last part that I just mentioned was the South. I love the South. I just gobble up any type of cool history type of info about what all took place in the South way back when or whatever. I don't know. There's just so much history that goes down with kind of the southern states. I just really love the richness of the southern states' history. There's so much beauty and so much tragic stuff that happened way back when that I can't get enough of. And also the architecture, I just feel like the South has buildings that you just don't really see anymore. Oh my gosh, give me an old southern house to live in and I will live it up. And also, you guys, the trees of the South, the trees, they're so pretty. Awesome tall oaks that hang over like dirt gravelly roads. I want this. I want this. Spanish moss dangling from branches? Yes! Give me those hauntingly beautiful trees. I don't know what it is. I'm obsessed with trees from the South. A few years back, I had gone to Savannah, Georgia, and I took a tour around the place, and oh my gosh, it was like one of the most beautiful places I have ever been that didn't include an ocean or mountains. I was in awe by just how grand and lovely like the squares were in the old Savannah area. Oh my gosh. And going to Savannah made me want to go visit more like awesome historical southern towns. And one of those places that I want to go to is New Orleans. I just am dying to go. I've tried to go for the past several years and there was always something that came up that like made it to where I couldn't go to New Orleans. But one day it will happen. I will go to the French Quarter. I will be like digging up that history behind the city. And if I meet a vampire on the street, then I will go ahead and interview him. Interview with a vampire, huh? I will go ahead and interview him so that way I get all my rich goody details that I need to go write my book. If you had to ask me what one of my weird obsessions was, I would have to say the South. I just love like lots and lots of goody stuff about the South. And question number 4 is, what do I want my readers to think or feel after reading my book? There's lots of times in my book where I will have my good characters, my protagonist included, where they will be doing bad things. But it's a kind of a question, whereas if a good person does something bad, does that make them bad in general? Or are they still good, but they know that they have done horrible deeds that they know that they need repentance for? So a question that kind of goes on through my book is, if you are a good person who does a bad thing, does that make you bad? Lots of shit does go down in my book. I will say that. I really do think that that's the number one theme that I do want people to kind of take away with them, or at least think about the most, because I just feel like that's kind of like my protagonist of what she's trying to overcome, because she starts off the book doing something very horribly bad, and so she just has to really overcome this horrible thing that she's done, and she thinks to herself that she's a horrible person by doing that thing. I do think that there will be people who will say, no, she's gone too far, or no, she can be redeemed from this. There's still redemption there. But that's the number one I kind of want people to ponder about as they're done reading this. All right, so that was my behind the book tag. Thank you so much, Mandi Lynn, for tagging me to do that one. I am so happy that your book baby is out there in the world, and I hope that mine can be gracing the people as well here soon in the eventual future. What's the genre of your book that you're working on right now? And also, what is the number one thing that you wish people would take away from your book after reading it? And now on to tagging the people. Who shall I tag? Who shall I tag? I will tag Annie North and also RaiBShaw. You girls have been tagged to do this tag next. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and also to learn a little bit more about me and my WIP. If you like this video, please let me know by giving me a like down below, and also feel free to subscribe. It's so easy to do. You just gotta hit a red button that's right there. If this type of video floated your boat, you should totally stay tuned for all of my future writing related content that I do post on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And y'all should totally follow me on social media, where you can find me at _Brooke Passmore. That's me on Twitter and Instagram. And thank you all so much for stopping by today, and I will see you next time. Bye!